With us just being a couple weeks away from the iPhone 15's releasing, so much has began to leak out. So in this video, I want to go over everything. There are so many new leaks and rumors to talk about, and of course, we've got some exclusive renders as always to bring everything to life. I can't believe these phones are almost here. I am hyped out the gourd. Let's start off with the new color. Remember how we thought it was going to be red for the iPhone 15 Pro? A new dark maroon color that looks something like this? Well, apparently it's actually not going to be so red after. According to a new post from Redditor over on X, Apple is preparing to do a new dark blue color this year. It's sort of a grayish option that will be different than space black, but also not as blue as something like Pacific blue. And what's really interesting about this rumor in particular is that Apple apparently is not doing the red option at all. This person claiming that they don't know where that came from, and the new color for 2023 was always going to be this center blue color. What makes this rumor even more interesting is that the source has previously shared images of what they allege to be the actual iPhone 15 with titanium and USB-C on the Pros and the entire front of the standard iPhone 15s, which will be giving you that island. But this new blue color itself, I'm just not sold on, considering that Apple has done a variation of blue on 2 out of the last 3 Pro iPhones. It would make sense to bring in red for some new blood here. Hey, speaking of things I've been asking for, we have new updates on the action button coming to the iPhone 15 Pro. And what's exciting about this story is it's not a leak or a rumor or speculation. Apple themselves has confirmed the entirely new action button will be replacing the mute switch on the iPhone 15 Pro. That's right, in the latest iOS 17 Beta 4 from Apple, they accidentally unveiled this new setup that they're going to be rocking on the iPhone 15 Pros, and it's so extensive that we know exactly what you'll be able to do with it. They have mapped out every single feature. It's actually pretty cool. Let me show you. According to Apple, it's going to have 9 different remappable functions, so obviously you'll still be able to use it to go into silent mode because that's all the button does right now, but you'll also be able to do anything with accessibility. You'll be able to press it to go straight into the camera. You'll be able to remap it to your flashlight, which is super cool, or enable a focus mode, open a magnifier, and do any shortcut. And finally, most interesting to me is you'll also be able to use it to translate or record voice memos at the press of a button. So if these are things you find yourself doing really frequently, there will now be a dedicated button on your iPhone for these tasks. I don't want to speak for Apple, but I feel like all of this detail was not supposed to come out, and it is definitely a major spoiler for the event, but I love that it's actually happening. I didn't know if the action button made the final cut, but it has, and this is absolutely going to be a huge part of the iPhone 15 that Apple markets. Now, speaking of marketing, let me tell you about my cool iPhone case made by Casecool, who's sponsoring today's video. Lately, I've been rocking their Cloud Cush series, which is super colorful and fun. It's got air cushion technology that absorbs shocks, and it's got silky smooth touch, which is just so absolutely comfortable in your hand. And between August 7th and August 9th, Casecool is holding a brand day flash sales event. It's a 3-day campaign, which is super exciting. It's going to be 25% off selected products throughout the day, and an additional 15% off during the first hour of each sale day, so a total of 40% off. There's a number of deals happening across different days, with day 1 happening with the True Shock and Mag 2 series. Day 2, you've got things like the Magic Stand series, and day 3, you've got even more options. So check out Casecool, link down below in the description. Huge thank you to them for sponsoring. Okay, so I wish this video was all good news about action buttons and new colors for the iPhone 15 Pro. Something that we really need to talk about is the price. You know how we've been joking for a few years now about a Pro price increase? We're like, it's gonna go up to above $1,000 for the first time ever since the iPhone 10. Wow, that would sure be crazy if Apple did that one day. Wouldn't that just be audacious if they did that? Well, this time around, we've been hearing it from almost every credible source, including even Bloomberg now, saying that Apple is looking to increase the prices of the iPhone 15 Pro model specifically. And according to one analyst over at Barclays, this is going to be the pricing structure. We've got iPhone 15 unchanged at $799. iPhone 15 Plus, again unchanged at $899. And then the Pros, they started to have a bit of fun with. We've got the iPhone 15 Pro, this is the 6.1-inch model, allegedly starting at $100 more this year, $1099. And then the Pro Max, right, the periscope zoom camera, more on that later, that highest-end Apple model is said to be costing up to $1,299. It could be $1,300 for the Pro Max. There could be up to a $200 price increase there. And I don't know about you guys, but things seem to be getting out of control relatively quickly. Really, all of this brings me back to 2017 when Apple was about to release the iPhone 10, and we started hearing the same thing. The iPhone wasn't going to start at $600 or $700. Apple was going to potentially go up to $1,000 for the first time ever, which nobody could believe. And then the iPhone 10 came out, it was $1,000, and it sold really well, and the Pro models continue to outsell the regular models, and I think Apple is just ready to test the bounds. Now, is the iPhone 15 Pro not going to be worth $1,100? I'm not going to say that. I'm just saying I don't like that we have to pay more. That seems silly, and it should stay the same price forever. Now, to be fair here, Apple has been actually raising prices outside of the United States for years. It's just our turn this year, and I feel you guys, it's been rough. I know in some countries, the iPhone costs like almost twice what it would cost to buy in the United States because of Apple's pricing matrix. Just know that the base price in Apple's US market, which is their home turf, it's finally going to be going up this year, which isn't great. Now, something else for the Pro is there were a ton of headlines recently about big delays for the 15. A few days back, essentially overnight, a ton of people started saying that Apple has run into production issues and that this is going to cause a somewhat serious delay to the point where Apple is going to separate the iPhone 15 launch from the iPhone 15 Pro launch. Essentially postulating that the 15s will come out in September, but the iPhone 15 Pro models, the most exciting ones, those aren't launching until early October. And I read this, and I've read every article on this topic in detail, by the way. It doesn't add up to me. I completely disagree with these articles, and I 100% expect the iPhone 15 and 15 Pro to go on sale at the same time, and I do believe this will be happening in September. If you actually look into what the source of these production issues apparently was, it's that Apple was having a hard time with the thin bezels on the prints. It's a new type of technology that Apple first debuted on the Apple Watch Series 7, and it was a little tricky to bring it out. These screen delays happened in an early part of mass production, and Apple had to work a little harder to figure out the kinks. The thing is, what no one has been talking about is this issue has been resolved. Apple has figured it out. We've gotten an updated report from a very reputable source among the likes of the information who is essentially 100% accurate and said in the first place there wasn't going to be a significant delay. They say the issue is all good, that Apple is continuing with production as normal. What happened here is that headlines saying the iPhone is going to be delayed get massive clicks. It's a huge deal for Apple. It's not only earnings at the end of the quarter, but for the public, it's like, well, I thought they come out in September, and now they're delayed. So people click, and everybody starts talking because they want to be the ones that called the iPhone delay. Yeah, iPhone delayed, great headline, but no actual evidence at this point that suggests that's going to be the case. Now, when are these phones getting unveiled? iPhone 15, you know it's early September. According to 9to5Mac, the official event date is going to be Wednesday, September 13th this year. All of that sounds really spot on to me. It's par for the course for what Apple always does. And again, I just think it confirms that there aren't going to be any delays. Now, let's talk about some great news for the rest of this video. I wanted to kind of do a little sandwich, like good news, not more prices news, and then really great stuff, batteries. The batteries on the iPhone 15, thanks to the A17 chip and increased capacity, are going to be bananas. And now we have some new information according to RG Cloud S over on X, who tells us that Apple is apparently using a new type of stacked battery technology on the iPhone 15, which will allow for greater energy density inside the phones. Essentially, this would explain how we've heard rumored capacity increases of 10% plus on every model across the board. Those are insane increases, and the stacked battery tech is apparently how it's happening. But it's not just energy density that the stacked battery technology offers, it's also better heat management, so it's not going to make your phone as hot, especially while charging or draining the battery. And it sounds like we could finally get a major jump, almost a doubling of iPhone charging speeds, which historically have been pretty slow compared to others. The same user says we're apparently going to be getting 40-watt wired charging and 20-watt MagSafe. The wired is essentially double the 20 watts we're promised now, and the MagSafe is 5 additional watts. It's capped at 15, and these would be huge improvements for charging on the iPhone. Now, they do have a caveat. They say they're not entirely sure if it's the iPhone 15. It could actually be 60, but again, combining this with the battery increases, it seems to line up pretty well. It sounds like all this is happening this year, and actually, please make it happened this year? I can't take the battery of the iPhone 14 Pro anymore. This is probably the worst battery life I've gotten on an iPhone since the iPhone 7, and we all remember how those days were. Please make it better. Please, please. Alright, let's close out with cameras. I know there's some of you out there like myself that do not like the Pro Max size. You found the phone's too big, and you've been very sad that the Periscope zoom lens that allows you to go 5 or 6x optically is going to be limited to the Pro Max only. And I'm sorry to tell you that it is just 100,000,000% confirmed. Mark Gurman and others have now hopped on saying that Apple is doing this, but it's not going to be on the 6.1-inch Pro. It's only going to be on the 6.7-inch Pro Max, which is pretty sad. Yeah, it's pretty heartbreaking, and honestly, I'm not really in the mood to talk about it. Let's move on to some other good stuff, like the fact that the aperture is increasing. It's currently f/1.79. That is going down to f1.7, which is going to allow just a little bit more light into the sensor, improving low light and quality of most of your photos. This is apparently made possible by a new hybrid glass and plastic lens design that Apple's going to be employing for the first time, and we know that the same 48 megapixel sensor will be staying on the Pros, but the standard iPhone 15s are getting that same sensor with a small asterisk. At first, it was really exciting because we thought it would be the exact same 48 megapixel sensor. Apparently, it's going to be cropped a little bit and will not be the exact same resolution and just not as good as the Pros, which is a little bit sad to hear. It's still going to be a huge, probably the biggest photo upgrade for the standard models in like 5 or 6 years. However, there's a reason Apple's doing it. They want the Pros to be the best cameras. That is still going to be the case in 2023. And this alongside everything else we're hearing for the standard 15 and 15 Plus, I just want to close by saying these are going to be in insane value this year. For $800, you're getting a new design with frosted back glass, USB-C, a new dynamic island on the front of the phone, fresh colors, and you're getting major camera upgrades.